everyone. Welcome to the Hudson Housing Authority Board of Commissioners meeting. Happens to be the first day of spring. I hope everybody's happy. I will take attendance at this time. Chairperson Ravonda Smith.
Here.
Vice Chair Claire Cousin. Absent. Commissioner Wolf,
Here.
Commissioner Decker,
Here.
Commissioner Zakos,
Yeah.
Commissioner Bora, and Commissioner Bennett. We do have a quorum. So the first order of business is public comment. Does anybody from the public, do you have any comments or anything you'd like to say? Okay, there's no public comment. We'll move on to old business. The first order of business is to approve the minutes, meeting minutes from February 2023. All the minutes and accounts payable have been sent to the commissioners, to the board of commissioners via email. Hopefully they had a time to review. Any questions on the minutes?
No, I just want to thank you. These minutes are very clear. I
Thank you.
appreciate them being like that. I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
seconded by Commissioner Wolf. All those in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Second order of business is our accounts payable for February 2023. Any questions?
I had those couple of questions, but were they updated on
Yes,
here?
they were. I sent it out to you.
Okay.
There being no questions, we have a motion to vote on the accounts payable.
I'll make that a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Decker, seconded by Commissioner Wolf. All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. So the next order of business is the executive director report. Normally I'm brief, but because I wanted to answer some questions that were brought forward by Commissioner Decker last month, I did make a response to the 22 questions that she sent me, so I'm gonna give a brief response. The first one wasn't one of her questions, but I do want to announce that our submissions for the RFQ are under review. We do have a team to review and score the submission, so we're very excited about that. We did plan to announce choosing a partner as of a special meeting on April 3rd, because that was our deadline. But we want to take our time and do our due diligence. So we've decided to announce the development partner at the next board meeting, which is just a couple of weeks longer. So on April 17, 2023 is our goal. That's when we will announce the development partner. Again, there were several questions or comments that Commissioner Decker brought forward regarding a tenant meeting that she had, so I'll attempt to address those now. The first thing she asked about was on behalf of the tenants, was the smoking policy. What is it? How does it work? So if you're caught smoking, the first violation, you get a verbal warning, which is documented in the resident file. The second violation is a warning, and which is also documented in the residence file. And then the third violation, and a fine on the second violation, $50 fine. And the third violation, you can continue to be fined, and it may be subject to eviction proceedings. Number 3, she asked about the security issue with the elevator. She promised twice that she would jinx us. Well, the elevator is down.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, we're waiting for a part. We know what's wrong. They're trying to get it to us as soon as possible. As soon as it comes in, it'll be restored and up and running.
Now, the EMTs, they usually use the big elevator,
That's correct.
and it's hard for them to get into that little elevator now.
That's correct. But so far, so good. We haven't had any problems, and
Thank
want to
you.
get that expedited and fixed as soon as possible. The next thing was the stairwell. She was asking, I believe, about, why it's currently open or how long will it be open. So when I got here, the stairwell was open. And right now will remain open until further notice. It's definitely now because the elevator's not working, we need it to be egress. Although
I
it's,
noticed,
excuse me one second.
sorry,
Although it's made to operate where the doors are locked, and once there's an emergency, those doors are released. But until we get everything functioning the way it should, it's gonna continue to remain open at this time. Next was, it was asked, when there is an issue, when security is not on duty, what is the next step or what happens next? And so, my response to that is the next step, if necessary, if the situation arises, to please call the police, if it warrants that type of, response. In other words, if it's an emergency, you call the police. Otherwise, we're asking that you submit any issues that are not an emergency to the office so that we can review the complaint and check it out and do as best an investigation as we can to attempt to resolve the issues. Next, Commissioner Decker spoke about the exit signs during the blackout. So what I've had staff do is check every exit sign in the building. They did do an inspection. They reported to me that all the signs are working and secure. So when the lights go out, those signs should illuminate. If that's not the case, I mean, they're inspected and they're working, but if that does occur and they're not working, please actually alert me as soon as possible so we can get it addressed. The way the lights normally work, you don't want to test them too often, even though they have to be inspected, but you literally can burn them out from frequent testing. Okay. She also asked about paying apartments, and again, my response to that is that right now, paying will not occur as we're moving forward to development. What we're deferring to and addressing are emergency work orders, critical work orders, urgent work orders, in that order as we move towards development. And ultimately, we're just really trying to get better housing for everyone here in the building that will qualify and release compliant. Next, she asked about the asbestos matter, and my response to that is that the matter is being assessed. So a plan can be put together so that the best course of action can be determined. I know that seems like a general answer, but I have to review and understand what's going on and again, see the best course of action to make sure we maximize our service, but also minimize our expenditures.
I think to add on to that, if they have a hole or.
Thank you, yes. So if your apartment hasn't been inspected already and you have a hole, and you should not, please look out for pinholes. You shouldn't be making any pinholes, banging in the walls, anything of that nature. But if you have a hole and you need us to come look at it, please come to the office. We'll add you to the list so we can do a further investigation. Thank you for that, Commissioner. She also asked about checking on the elderly, which I thought was, which I love. And we do wellness checks. However, and they're for the appropriate party. So if somebody that's listed as an emergency contact can't reach their relative and they access to go to check on them, we'll do that. But further than that, we're also a community, right? So we're asking that our neighbors, check on your neighbors. Just make sure everybody's all right. And again, if you see something or don't see something and you're concerned, bring it to our attention, and we'll do further
a few
investigation.
years back, we used to have neighborhood watchdog.
Right. Ms. Decker Commissioner
Yeah,
Decker
but
talked about that. Yeah. Okay. Also engaging with residents, which was referring to me. She said some people don't feel as if I'm engaged with them. So again, I'll repeat and I'll continue to repeat. You're always welcome to make an appointment to come see me. If you see me outside and you want to talk to me, I will talk to you. However, if the matter is of any importance to you, a couple things, I don't want to discuss your personal issues in public, number one. And secondly, you deserve my full attention. So talking to me in passing won't be the best thing. I ask that you make an appointment, come sit down with me in my office. And I'm very consistent with this. Allow me to take notes and ask questions so that I can get the full gist of your issue and hopefully address it. Okay. Um, The next was asked when I was gonna have a resident meeting, and I said this month, and as promised, I had that meeting last week on Thursday. And it was a good meeting, approximately 15 people attended. We discussed spring cleaning, where we will have the truck with the trailer out every Wednesday except for the first Wednesday. So folks can discard their large bulky material in an effort to clean and declutter their apartments. And for the townhouse properties, if they need us to pick something up, they need to let us know, we'll come pick it up. We also discussed that there will be free laundry, which is this week. There is a free laundry week. And we're also asking residents to sign up for Healthy Neighborhoods. Healthy Neighborhoods is a program, and if you, what is it?
No, it's
No,
for the
it's
health
our-
department.
It's for the health department, yeah. And so what, thank you. It's for the Department of Health. And what happens if we get enough residents to sign up, they will come here and they will give a class on housekeeping as well as provide cleaning materials, which is actually another question that was asked on the list. So we did get some people to sign up. We'd like to get at least 15 so we can approach them and ask them to sign up. We also spoke about work orders. I'm asking that we not go to the maintenance staff with a work order. The appropriate way to put in a work order is either to call the office or come down and put a work order in. That way we can track and make sure that it's done and completed. Otherwise, you may tell the maintenance staff and they have something else going on. And they may share this with you. They may say, please call the office, and that is my order to them. So don't get upset with them. They should not be taking work orders from you. You should call the office. I need to have records of what's going on and what they're doing. We also discussed rent. Always continue to come talk to me. We are starting to develop relationships with people who want to help. And lastly, we had a visitor, the Rolling Grocer, which is right here on North Second Street, South Second Street, I'm sorry. And they, Miss McKinney came and spoke to everyone about signing up. We have the computer and the office, which they're gonna set up for us so that residents can log on. They can pick their groceries at the minimum level and sign up, and all they have to do is put their name and apartment number. They already know their address by virtue of the program that we have on the computer, or they can do it themselves upstairs, and they will deliver the groceries to you. So I thought that was a good program. And again, what we talked about is trying to get everybody in the community involved and offer as many services to the residents here as we could. We talked about cleaning floors, and so a deep cleaning will be coming and scheduled. The floors are being done now, but because the elevators are down, we can't get the big machine up as we want to, but there's also some stripping and waxing that needs to be done, which needs to be scheduled, but that is forthcoming. The next question was what will happen to tenants while building other housing? And as I stated that night, that question will be answered once plans are made and we know what we're doing. And we are able to share that information with the residents.
Can we add in there that, tenant will be watching without, will be left behind, like everyone?
Right, our plan is, thank you, Commissioner. The commissioner like me to add that no tenant, we're gonna work with everyone so that they can take the ride with us. It is not our objective to leave anybody behind or leave anybody homeless. So in that, there are things that we need you to do, which is one of those major things is to be lease compliant. Make sure you pay your rent, keep your parking, all of those things that you make of that nature. We'll help you through that. That's why we're doing these sessions at the meetings to try to bring services, wraparound services, because that's what, good housing entails. So it literally takes a village. So, we just ask that residents are responsive to our letters, come ask questions and things of that nature. We have no problem answering. All right. So the next question was what happens to tenants who refuse extermination? Like the smoking policy, warnings will be sent and the residence folder will be documented, and an excessive amount of offenses can result in termination. Okay. Ms. Decker asks about, Commissioner Decker asks about the exhaust fans in the laundry room. And also though she mentioned to me in the resident meeting that the washer and dryer, there was an issue with it. According to my staff, that those issues with the washer and dryer have been addressed, so let me know. Check it out.
It has
You
not.
used it today,
Somebody did it today,
okay,
same two dryers,
in
That's
this room,
this one, or the big one,
okay,
the two next to the big one. That they had to take them out and put them in the big dryer because they did not dry.
okay. They're not over putting too many clothes in it or anything.
I can't tell you, I don't.
I'll check again, just if you can just show me what we're done,
Alright.
I'll have it check again, check. But the exhaust fans in the room, he said that's what do work. Okay. The grocery cart, I don't have an answer for, honestly, so you and I can talk a little bit more about that. I don't know where we got that from or how that was here.
It was-
And where it was stored, but we can talk about it and I'll try to rectify that.
Okay.
Um, The pet policy was another issue that was brought up, which we've already spoken about, no new pets in the building. Because pet policy is suspended until further notice. The next question was about what happens to money that is paid for lockouts that occur after hours. The residents charge $25, and that just goes into the operating budget because it is a maintenance charge. Okay. Again, I already talked about signing up for helping make that neighborhoods program. As far as the minutes were concerned, Commissioner Decker asked if we could put the minutes out on the table, and I advised that I would get them on the website, so they're now on the website. We have 21, 22, and 23. There are some missing areas which I'm filling in, but those 3 years are now on the website as up to date as possible right now. And I'll continue to add them to the website. In response to calling residents, Mr. and Mrs., what I've been doing now is asking residents, interestingly enough, when they come to my office or when we're having a conversation, how would you like to be addressed? Most folks are saying just by their first name and tell me what that is. I have no problem addressing any resident the way they want to be, addressed, as long as it's respectful to them and myself. But I have no problem. All right, you asked about the cars in the parking lot, and so that issue is being addressed, cars are being tagged. Where the owners are known, we've sent letters to them for them to come see it so that we can speak to them about removing their car appropriately. And if they don't comply, unfortunately, their cars will be towed if there are no registration and license, license plates on the vehicle. All right, so we can't have abandoned vehicles on the property. That's what the gist of that is. She also asked if what happens if the cops are called, like if it's after hours, there's no security, am I notified? So my staff typically tells me what's going on. Somehow, some way, residents here contact them and they tell me what's going on. But we may establish what I will talk to the police department about if it's something that's high level of urgent nature that I need to know about. Maybe they can give me a call out. I don't know if they'll take that an extra step, but I will contact them and ask them about that so that I'm fully aware and I can get a first-hand knowledge.
Yeah, between the night or the cops and all up there every other day.
Okay, and lastly, was about adding another resident board member and removing the mayor's employee. So currently our bylaw laws don't speak to that. They actually say that we require 5 appointed commissioners from the mayor and 2 resident commissioners. So that is our structure at this time. All right, and that is the end of the executive director's report.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What happens if you get told your key will be shut off if you keep on letting people in the building that don't belong in this building? Or they're trying to get in saying they left their keys behind and they don't live in the building?
So what's your question? Is it, should we, how are we going to handle that situation?
Yeah,
or-
I would like to know
Alright.
because I got told by a party that works in this building, I was teasing her about letting her, I can't let you in because I don't know you. And she said, that's what I like to hear.
I mean, we shouldn't be letting people in the building that don't have key fobs and they're not our guests. They should not come in the building.
Thank you.
That's about it. No.
Because I get called all kinds of names, because I get Meals on Wheels, and I'm standing there, and people will let me in. I said, no, because I'm not having my key cut off for you or nobody. And they start calling me all these dirty names.
And I'm sorry that that is occurring, but that is a big right response. So thank you for that. All right. At this time, we will move on to new business and we will go to Commissioner Decker for, do you have a resident commissioner's report today?
The only thing that that I am having a meeting for tenants next month. That's pretty much.
What date, do you know?
I was shooting for the 12th.
So you're not sure that yet, but it'll be advertised, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
that's it.
so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Is there a motion?
I had a question just back
Yes.
to the committee to go over the development partner
Yes.
proposals. Does the board have access to seeing the proposals or what's the situation with that?
And I just have to check with
Yeah.
with council to see how we can arrange that. It may,
Because it's like, they're like this,
yeah,
Right,
so
right,
it's not like something like you could take with you.
right.
right.
But,
So I'll check.
I know you
with-
can go to his office, but
Right,
he's
you
gonna
can come to
double
my
check.
office and check, but let me just check with council to be sure, so we make sure we're in compliance.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with it, we just want to make sure we're in compliance.
yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty certain any board member could go to just and review the
just
documents. You
can't
can't
take
take the documents, but you can
Right.
review the
That
documents.
makes- I'm happy to like make an appointment with you.
I would love that, I've been trying to make an appointment with you since I got here. I would love that, that'd be great.
Started a new job.
I know, well, I'll come to you. Is there, thank you. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make
Motion.
And I'll
Motion
second it.
by Commissioner
Zappos,
Zappos, is seconded
second
by
by
Commissioner
Decker.
Decker. All those in favor?
I.
Right.